Picture this. You've just purchased your dream property, a lovely, abandoned subway station that the city forgot existed. Classic real estate opportunity. But there's one tiny problem. No electricity. The power company wants to charge you actual money to run cables down here. Unacceptable. So naturally, you've decided to build your own underground power generator using the finest materials the scrapyard has to offer, which, let me tell you, is quite the collection. We're talking washing machine drums, bicycle parts, and what I'm pretty sure used to be part of a carnival ride. The dream. First, we need to understand the core principle of our generator, converting kinetic energy into electrical energy, but doing it with style and questionable stability. We're going to start with our main component, a massive flywheel. Now, you could buy a proper flywheel, but where's the adventure in that? Instead, we've acquired the drum from an industrial washing machine. This beauty weighs about 80 pounds and has the structural integrity of, well, a washing machine drum. Perfect. Mount this bad boy on a central axis made from repurposed motorcycle parts. Why motorcycle parts? Because they were there, and also because it makes us feel like we're building something fast, even though it's just spinning in place like a very confused hamster wheel. Now here's where it gets interesting. How do we make our flywheel spin? We have 3 options, and we're using all of them because redundancy is important, and also because I got carried away at the scrapyard. Option 1. The water wheel of moderate disappointment. There's a small underground stream running through our abandoned station, very atmospheric, slightly concerning structurally, but we're choosing optimism. We've built a water wheel from shopping carts welded together. Does it look like a medieval torture device? Yes. Does it spin when water hits it? Also yes, sometimes. Connect this to your main flywheel with a chain from a bicycle. Not a bicycle chain, an actual chain from when you locked up a bicycle. We're resourceful here. Option 2. The wind tunnel of optimistic engineering. You know those ventilation shafts in underground stations? We're going to stick a propeller in there made from repurposed ceiling fan blades and hope that the natural airflow does something useful. Will it work? The answer is maybe, but probably not. But let's pretend. Connect this to the flywheel with a belt made from connecting several old car serpentine belts together. Is it the right size? No. Did we make it the right size through determination and zip ties? Absolutely. Option 3, and this is my favorite, the pedal power station of last resort. We've mounted 4 bicycle frames to a platform, all connected to a central gear system cobbled together from a broken rowing machine and some very optimistic welding. When your other power sources fail, and they will, you can just pedal for electricity like some kind of underground gym that generates disappointment instead of endorphins. Now we have a flywheel that spins. Probably, sometimes. The next challenge is converting that rotational energy into actual electricity. This is where we need a generator. And lucky for us, the scrapyard had several car alternators just lying around, looking sad and unemployed. We're mounting 4 car alternators around our main flywheel, each connected via belts, because apparently this entire project is just belts and misplaced confidence. Car alternators are beautiful because they're designed to generate electricity while spinning, which is exactly what our flywheel does, assuming everything hasn't fallen apart yet. Here's a pro tip from someone who learned the hard way. Make sure your alternators are all aligned properly. By properly, I mean in a way that doesn't cause the entire system to shake like it's trying to escape its own existence. Use whatever mounting brackets you can fashion from angle, iron, and hope. Electricity is being generated. Theoretically, now we need to store it, because power generation is inconsistent when your sources include maybe there's wind today, and is the creek flowing, or just damp. Enter the battery bank of questionable origin. We've collected approximately 20 car batteries from various vehicles that no longer needed them, mostly because those vehicles no longer existed in any meaningful way. Wire these babies in series and parallel honestly. Just wire them in whatever configuration makes you feel like you understand electrical engineering. You'll need a charge controller to prevent overcharging, which we've cleverly constructed from okay fine. You actually need to find a real charge controller for this part. Some things even fictional engineers can't improvise. Scavenge one from a solar setup or an RV. They're designed for exactly this kind of a regular power input from dubious sources scenario. Now you've got stored power. Time to wire up your underground lair. And by wire up properly, I mean, run extension cords to everything like you're setting up the world's most permanent temporary solution. Create a central junction box from a metal toolbox. Mount some outlets inside, and yes, these should be actual electrical outlets, because even in our fictional world, we draw the line at complete electrical chaos. Run your wiring through old conduit pipes you found lying around the station. It'll look intentional and almost professional. For lighting, we're using LED strips everywhere because they're efficient and also because they make everything look like a cyberpunk movie set. String them along the ceiling using whatever mounting method speaks to you spiritually. Zip ties. Sure. Duct tape. Why not? Staples. You're a maverick. Every good underground power generator needs a monitoring station where you can watch numbers and feel like you're controlling something important. We've set up a desk made from an old door across 2 filing cabinets. Classic. Mount some analog voltmeters on a board above the desk. Where do you get analog voltmeters? Literally anywhere. Old appliances, car dashboards, that weird electronics store that looks like it hasn't updated inventory since 1983. Wire these 2 various points in your system so you can watch the voltage fluctuate wildly and pretend you understand what it means. Add some toggle switches that don't actually do anything but look impressive. Label them things like primary flow regulator and auxiliary spin coordinator. When visitors ask what they do, just say, better not to touch those mysteriously. Now, in the real world, this entire setup would be surrounded by safety features, backup systems, and probably several restraining orders from the electrical safety board. In our fictional world, we're still adding some safety elements because even imaginary engineers have standards. Install a big red emergency stop button that cuts power to everything. Mount it prominently on a wall where you can dramatically slap it when things go wrong. And things will go wrong. That's half the fun. Create a fuse box. From an actual fuse box, some things you just don't improvise. This protects your system from surges and also gives you something to check when the power mysteriously goes out because the water wheel got jammed by an underground raccoon. Add some fire extinguishers around the space. Not because we expect fires in this entirely fictional scenario, but because they make excellent props, and also just in case. Every proper underground generator needs a startup sequence that makes you feel like you're launching something important. Here's ours. First, walk around the entire setup checking connections while nodding knowingly. Doesn't matter if you know what you're looking at. Confidence is key. Second, check the water wheel. Give it a spin manually to make sure it's not jammed. Listen for any sounds that suggest imminent mechanical failure. Ignore those sounds. Third, check your battery bank voltage. If the meters show anything at all, consider it a win. Fourth, engage your primary power sources. Start with the water wheel. By opening a sluice gate you definitely installed during construction. Watch it begin to turn slowly, then faster, then concerningly fast, then back to slowly because nothing down here works consistently. Fifth, flip on the secondary systems. Get that ventilation propeller spinning by. Well, by hoping there's airflow today. Sixth, if all else fails, get on those bicycle pedals and start generating power the old-fashioned way, through sheer determination and quadriceps. Finally, throw the main breaker switch with unnecessary dramatic flair. Watch your LED lights flicker to life. Listen to your alternators hum. Feel the vibration of barely controlled mechanical energy. You've done it. Of course, things will go wrong. They always do when your engineering approach is creative rather than correct. Problem 1. Nothing spins. Solution. Check if your belt system has transformed into a tangled mess of rubber and regret. Untangle it, replace it with the backup belts you definitely prepared. Problem 2. Everything spins, but no power is generated. Solution. Check your alternator connections. One of them probably came loose because vibration is real, and mounting brackets are suggestions. Problem 3. Power is generated, but immediately lost. Solution. Your batteries might be dead. Like, really dead. Replace them with the backup batteries you definitely have. Problem 4. Strange grinding noises from the flywheel. Solution. That's either normal operational sounds or catastrophic bearing failure. Best not to investigate too closely. Problem 5. Everything works, but you're only generating enough power to run one light bulb. Solution. Congratulations. That's actually pretty good for a system built from scrap. Lower your expectations and appreciate the ambience. Now you've got a functioning underground power generator. Well, functioning might be generous. Let's say occasionally operational. You can power lights, charge devices, and run small appliances, assuming you run them one at a time and don't mind the occasional total system failure. Your underground lair now has that perfect aesthetic of post-apocalyptic. Workshop meets steampunk fever dream. The constant humming of mechanical components provides white noise for sleeping. The flickering lights create atmosphere. The ever-present possibility of mechanical failure keeps you alert and engaged with your environment. Sure, you could have just paid for proper electrical service, but where's the story in that? Where's the character development? Where's the satisfaction of building something ridiculous that somehow, against all odds and logic, actually does something? And there you have it, folks. Your very own fictional underground power generator built from scrap, powered by stubbornness, and maintained through hope and regular mechanical prayer. Remember, in the real world, please consult actual engineers, obtain proper permits, follow all electrical codes, and generally do the opposite of everything I've described today. This has been a journey through imagination, not an instruction manual for reality. But in the realm of fiction, where we live for the next 10 minutes, you've just built something absolutely ridiculous, and I'm proud of you. Stay creative, stay safe, and remember, if it looks stupid, but it works, it's still stupid, and you just got lucky. Power on, my friends. Power on.